When a patient with a severe burn is rushed into the ICU, it's an all-hands-on-deck emergency. But what if one of the biggest factors in whether they survive or not is something we almost never think about? A simple vitamin? Let's get into this, because it's a pretty surprising story.
See, a major burn isn't just about the skin. It is a full-body assault. The second it happens, the body just goes into chaos, unleashing this massive wave of inflammation that basically short-circuits the immune system. It leaves the patient completely defenseless. For years, doctors have been fighting the obvious enemies: infection, organ failure, you name it. But what if there was this hidden vulnerability? A problem that was already there, tipping the scales against the patient before they even got to the hospital. And that leads us to a very surprising suspect in this whole medical drama: vitamin D. And no, we're not just talking about healthy bones here. We're talking about its role in the absolute life-or-death moments inside an ICU. And get this, to understand the scale of what we're looking at, studies have found that a whopping 76% of patients who are admitted to a trauma ICU are already low on vitamin D. So this isn't some rare thing. For these incredibly sick people, it's pretty much the standard. You know, what's wild is just how new all of this is. Seriously, a decade ago, if you told a doctor that the sunshine vitamin was a big deal in critical care, they probably would have laughed you out of the room. Now, it's one of the hottest topics in the field.
So to really get why this deficiency is such a disaster for these patients, we kind of have to reset what we think vitamin D even is, because vitamin doesn't really do it justice.
Here's the key thing to understand. Vitamin D isn't just a nutrient. It's the raw material for a super powerful hormone. Think of it like a master key for your body. It can turn on or off over 1,000 different genes, and, crucially for a burn patient, it is one of the main conductors of your entire immune system orchestra. And how our body gets it ready is usually pretty simple. It starts with sunlight on your skin, or some from food. Then it takes a trip to the liver for a little tune-up, and then off to the kidneys for the final step, which creates the active, usable hormone. It's a clean, simple process that is, until everything goes wrong. So what happens when someone suffers a severe burn? Well, that simple system doesn't just get a little wonky, it completely collapses. A patient's vitamin D levels don't just dip, they absolutely nosedive, right at the moment the body needs that master key more than ever. And the big question is, why? Why does this vital resource just vanish at the exact moment a person is fighting for their life? Well, it turns out it's not one thing. It's a perfect storm of physiological chaos. It is an attack from every possible angle. First, the body's inflammatory response just goes haywire. Then, your blood vessels start leaking, and all the IV fluids they're pumping in to save your life, well, they're actually watering down what little vitamin D is left. On top of that, organs like the liver and kidneys, the ones you need to activate the vitamin, start to struggle. Damaged tissues are gobbling it up like crazy. And to add insult to injury, even if the patient gets some sun, new scar tissue is 4 to 5 times worse at making vitamin D. Literally, every single system is compromised. Now, this catastrophic drop isn't just some number on a lab chart. It has real, devastating effects on the patient. It's like pulling a Jenga block that causes the whole tower to start shaking. And when you look at the outcomes, the connection is, well, it's chilling. Lower vitamin D is directly tied to a higher risk of sepsis, which is the #1 killer of burn patients. It's linked to more severe lung damage, something called ARDS. It means longer stays in the ICU and higher rates of kidney and respiratory failure. And even for those who survive, the problem can stick around for years, causing weak bones and fractures long after they've gone home. So, okay, we've got this massive problem, and the evidence is overwhelming. Naturally, researchers are now scrambling to find a fix. How do you get this critical hormone back into the system when the clock is ticking? The usual approach, just giving small daily doses, it just doesn't cut it. It's like trying to put out a forest fire with a water pistol. It's way too little, way too late. So a new strategy is being tested, what's called a loading dose. Basically, a single massive shot of vitamin D designed to flood the system and get levels back up fast. And this idea led to a really important study called the VITDAL ICU trial. It's the biggest one of its kind, looking at high-dose vitamin D in critically ill people, and the results, well, they gave us a major clue. What was so fascinating was that at first, looking at all the ICU patients together, the big dose didn't really seem to move the needle much on survival. But then they zoomed in. When they looked only at the patients who were the most deficient, the ones with rock-bottom levels, the results were dramatic.
For that specific group, the high dose led to a significant drop in mortality. It was literally a potential lifesaver for the patients who needed it the most.
And this really gets to the core of it all. We're talking about a treatment that is incredibly cheap, easy to give, and really, really safe. Just like the researchers said, even a small benefit from something this simple could be an absolute game changer for critical care.
So it leaves you with this incredible thought, right? For decades, medicine has been looking for these complicated, high-tech, super expensive solutions for critical illnesses. But maybe, just maybe, one of the biggest answers has been hiding in plain sight the whole time, waiting in a simple ray of sunshine.